Unfortunately, we are approaching the peak of severe weather season, and we are about to see a significant severe weather event that'll last multiple days. This will begin Thursday and run all the way through at least Sunday, but perhaps even into early next week, where we are going to have several shots for damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes from the Great Plains back into the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and as well as the Mississippi Valley. So in today's forecast, we're going to break down everything that you need to know about this multi-day severe weather event and why this could be one of the largest severe weather events that we've had thus far in 2024. But let's begin first with what's happening right now in the United States today that'll lead to this large severe weather event. And we will begin with this large storm that we have actually back up north of North Dakota. This is currently coming out of Canada, and you might be thinking, is this bringing an Arctic blast or something like that? Because usually, at least during the winter, when a low pressure system comes out of Canada, we get some sort of cold blast. Unfortunately, that is just not the case with this disturbance, and in fact it is a large storm, but it's really not bringing much of anything. It's mostly just showers and cloud cover for much of the Central Plains and back through the Midwest. There actually might be a little bit of snow if you're back up in the northern plains or back up in northern Minnesota, but overall I'm not expecting any severe weather out of this particular event. It's overall going to be a very quick moving system, and by the time we go into Wednesday, this will move into the northeast where there will be some showers. Elsewhere in the country, it's fantastic weather. The northeast, the southern plains, the southeast, and even on the west coast, there's hardly any cloud cover. Enjoy the beautiful weather while it lasts. It should be around, at least for the east coast, at least through the end of the week, but many areas in the southern plains will only have this very beautiful weather probably until about Wednesday, maybe Thursday if you're lucky. Now for the next few days, the temperatures are going to be right back on the rise. We had a large cold air mass move into most of the United States. That has since moved out, and temperatures are going to be rebounding back to above average for much of the Great Plains as we go into Thursday and Friday. Notice that warm air mass will build back in. Here is a low pressure system that'll develop by the end of the week. That is what's going to bring that multi-day severe weather event, and it's also going to bring strong southerly winds, which will lead to much warmer weather for much of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and as well as the central and southern plains. That should eventually move out though as we go into Monday into Tuesday with maybe a brief shot of colder air, but we are getting awfully close to May, and usually when we get closer to May, the cold blasts that we usually have in like the winter, for example, they really wind down. So any cold air that we get out of this will overall be pretty minimal for most of the United States. For tomorrow, for tossing trampolines on Tacos Tuesday, I don't have any tossing trampolines in the forecast, but I do have in the forecast is some beautiful weather and increasing temperatures for most of the country. The only exception will be the Midwest, where there will be some passing showers tomorrow. Many areas in the 50s and 60s, and then back down in Texas and Oklahoma, many areas will be in the 80s and as well as near 90 degrees in some areas. Now let's talk more about that multi-day severe weather event that is coming to the United States, and this is going to be a very elongated event, and what I mean by that is that this will last multiple days. It's going to start on Thursday, and we actually might even see some isolated severe weather on Wednesday, and then this will roll all the way through Sunday and maybe even into Monday of next week. So this could be as long as 5 to 6 days overall, but the main core of this will happen from Thursday through Sunday. As of right now, the Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk for severe weather, which is a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, from southern Nebraska back into central and southern Kansas, western Oklahoma, and north central Texas, including parts of the Texas Panhandle. Now, overall, this has been a threat that we've been looking at for the last 3 days now. The Storm Prediction Center issued this a few days ago. It has changed slightly day by day. It's actually moving a slight bit further back to the west, and it's also a little bit larger than before, but overall, no major changes at this point to the risk of severe weather. The main concern for tossing trampolines on tall trees Thursday is going to be the threat for large hail and some damaging winds. I do not think we're going to see a severe weather outbreak on Thursday, but I do think we will have a severe weather outbreak on Friday, and that is because it is, one, a much larger area, and two, the ingredients are going to be much more available for this particular day. So Friday, which is Flying Fences Friday, is going to have to be the day that everybody watches closely. I do think this will be one of the greatest chances for severe weather for the rest of April. Now, right now, the slight risk for severe weather does include areas from Iowa back into Texas, so it's a pretty large area overall. Almost the entire state of Missouri is under that threat, and I actually had somebody comment to my last video, why is Missouri always in the threat of severe weather? It's just something that seems to happen very often right now. Well, overall, a lot of the storm systems are moving right across the Rocky Mountains and eventually going right into Missouri or just staying north of Missouri, which means that most of the time there's going to be some sort of risk of severe weather for multiple reasons, but that's just one of the general general reasons. The track of the low pressure system matters a lot with these particular events. Once we go into Saturday, which is Scary Storm Saturday, we do have another slight risk for severe weather. This one is brand new. The Storm Prediction Center issued this one today. This does include a large chunk of Texas from the Texas Panhandle into North Texas, almost the entire state of Oklahoma, Northwest Arkansas, Southwest Missouri, and Southern Kansas. Now, the main concern for both Friday and Saturday will be large hail damaging winds. I do think there will be a higher tornado risk on Friday comparatively to what we'll have on Saturday. I do think Saturday will be a bit more of a hail and wind threat, with maybe a couple of tornadoes also being possible. Before I go into the future radar, I do want to show you the handy dandy jet stream map, which will give you an idea of what's going to be happening over the next several days with these different disturbances. And as we go into Wednesday, we are going to have that low pressure system move into the northeast, so that'll move across the Midwest, eventually into the northeast, and right behind this low pressure system, we are going to get some sort of push of colder air, but it's not going to be significant into the point where we are going to see a cold blast, but it will be enough for a small cool down. Once we go into Friday, that is when our first trough ejection will happen right over the Rocky Mountains. And one of the reasons why this is concerning is because it is going to be a negatively tilted trough. And what that means is that we are going to get a much stronger pull of moisture. We're also going to have a lot more spin in the atmosphere across the central and southern plains. This is going to lead to more of an increased threat for severe weather, especially on Friday across the central plains. By Saturday, that low pressure system kind of filters back into this one, and this new low pressure system will develop on Saturday, which will become a pretty prominent low pressure system, and we are likely going to have another negatively tilted trough, which means once again probably a lot of spin in the atmosphere, leading to some sort of tornado risk on both Saturday and Sunday, but it'll probably be the greatest on Sunday. Once we go into Monday into Tuesday, that system moves off to the north and east, and overall we'll have a ridge build back in, which means that nicer weather will return by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So fantastic weather next week, but unfortunately we have to get through the next few days, and it's going to probably be a bit of a brutal stretch of severe weather coverage here on the Max Velocity channel. So make sure that you are subscribed down below. We'll have extensive coverage beginning Thursday or Friday, and that'll probably run all the way through about Sunday or so. Here's the future radar for the next several days. So again, today and tomorrow, showers will continue across the Midwest. By Wednesday, that rain and maybe even a mixture of rain and snow will move into the northeast. By Thursday, there will be a chance for some showers and thunderstorms late Wednesday night into Thursday morning that might produce some isolated large hail, but I don't think we're going to have anything significant. By the time we go into late Thursday into Friday, that is when our first of the multiple day severe weather event begins, with some showers and robust thunderstorms being possible. Any storms that form will be mainly comprised of large hail and damaging winds, but there may be a brief tornado. By Friday, that is when the most significant severe weather day will occur. That'll stretch anywhere from Nebraska and Iowa back down into Texas. The main concern on Friday will be damaging winds, but tornadoes also possible. By Saturday into Sunday, so this will be Saturday, a lot more storms will fire up back down in Oklahoma and Texas with that other low pressure system. A lot of this will probably fire up during the afternoon and evening, and eventually as we go into the overnight hours, storms move through Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas, and eventually by Sunday, that low pressure system moves to the northeast, and we'll be dealing with probably at least another severe weather event Sunday evening. That could be a bit more of something they'll have to watch for as well, for maybe some sort of elevated tornado risk in the Midwest, but things remain very uncertain at this point in terms of what will happen with exact timing and exact threats. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and we'll be keeping you posted with the latest as we get closer to this severe weather event.